Okay, I think we're live. Hi guys, welcome to the ECE and CS Grad Hangouts organized by India Club at Georgia Tech. So I'm gonna let all the seniors introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Satish. I graduated with Masters in Computer Science, and I was part of the course-based Masters, and I was RA for like last 2 semesters. I also transferred from online campus to on-campus during the last fall. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Niranjana. I initially came into Georgia Tech in BioE interdisciplinary with CS, and I shifted in my first semester to computer science and currently majoring in computing systems.
Hi, I'm Sanya, and I am doing my master's in EC, and my TIG is VLSI System and Digital Design.
Hi guys, I'm Manoj. I'm doing my PhD in computer science. So basically, I joined as a master's student in ECE with my specialization as telecom. After completing my master's, I switched to PhD in computer science.
So we also have another senior joining online remotely. He can introduce himself now.
Hi guys, this is Anirudh. I'm specializing in majoring in ECE and my TIG is CSS, Computer Systems and Software.
Okay, thank you, Anirudh. All right, thank you, Anirudh. So my name is Malvika. I'm just going to be moderating this session. So I guess before people start asking questions, we can start off with some questions that people filled out in the Google form. So the first question is, how difficult is it to get a machine learning internship or job for MS students? How to maximize the chances of getting them? Satish can answer.
My specialization is machine learning. So in my opinion, getting an internship or job for MS students is not that tough, provided that like you are using the resources available in campus properly. Like in the resource, I mean, like take a couple of good courses. Like I will mention it later in the question. There are some good courses, especially like machine learning, deep learning, computer visions. Those are the ones that the companies are interested in. So and if you are able to do it, like do a couple of special problems or RA work with the professors in campus, so those can be counted as an experience for you during your interviews. And these are the ways you can increase the chances and use the career fairs effectively, because like most of my friends were they were able to get into the fan companies because of those career fairs. Like they got it was easier for them to get an interview for machine learning jobs and interviews. Especially the internships are very easy to get through the career fair.
Okay, thanks, Satish. I also want to note that there are some seniors who will be also available on the YouTube chat, though they're not on video. They will be answering some questions there. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So, which are the good ML courses? What are the chances of getting TA and RA? How should you go about to get a TA or an RA?
Okay, good ML courses. For the first semester, I would recommend taking data visual analytics and machine learning, but machine learning might be a bit tougher, like machine learning from Professor Charles Isbell or Professor Byron Booth. It might be a bit tough, but data visual analytics would be like you will be able to do it. Like it covers some amount of machine learning, and then try computer vision by Professor James Hayes or Professor Devi Parekh. That course is quite good, and if like I hope that Professor Drupatra is coming to campus. Like he was not available last semester. If he is coming, take his deep learning class. That's a very good class in campus. So these are some of the good ones I can just think of.
Adding to that, so a lot of the ML courses, since it's also available on OMSCS, you would have a lot of reviews on them. Based on what I've heard, at least machine learning is quite an intensive course. Combined with data and visual analytics will be very hard. because DBA would require a substantial amount of work for your assignments. Um, to put that into perspective, I took DBA last semester, and a week before every assignment, I would spend around 60 hours on working on that assignment. So it was very intensive. Even though you have a lot of time, it would be hard to manage 4 courses, especially if it's in your first semester. So please keep that in mind. If you have to look into this, you can go to this website called omscentral.com, and you'll be able to look at the difficulty of all the courses and the amount of workload that you want. And based on that, you'll be able to, like think about which courses you should be taking, especially if you're going to be taking 12 credits in your first semester.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Niranjana.
One small change.
Yeah.
Please check for the courses before registration. Like you will be given access to the passport, and I think Niranja will be like explaining how to do that later on. But please check for the courses because like all the OMSCS courses may not be available on campus every semester.
Exactly.
Some courses will be offered only in fall, or some courses will be offered only in spring.
I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think another second part of the question was TA and RA, and I
Okay.
think that's common question for both CS and EC. So it'd be nice if each of you can share your thoughts and your experience with TA, RA, and stuff like that. So we can start with Satish.
Yeah, I was RA from fall semester, so fall 2018 and spring 2019 I was a RA under Professor John Casco. So
How did you get the RA?
yeah, I initially I tried contacting him through the mail, like through Georgia Mail ID, and I was like able to arrange a call with him. And initially my project was under 2 professors in fall semester, and one of the professors was John Casco. So basically they look into your marks, what have you got in the previous courses that are related to the research work they are going on. Say, for example, my work was to research into NLP and visual analytics. So they checked the grades which I got in DVA and a couple of good like other projects works which I have done in my past experience, and they interviewed me regarding the position before giving me a chance to be part of the lab.
So did you try before you came here, like in the first semester, before you took classes?
No, actually, like I had done a couple of classes in the online program, so I was using those grades for the basis on this.
I see. Thanks, Satish.
So after one of my courses in fall 2018, which was my first semester at Georgia Tech, I was contacted by a professor because he was also offering like a spring class or whatever to do a TA work. But since I had not applied for it, I could not get into it. So the way it works for CS students, at least, is it's a central system where you apply for TA or RA. Unfortunately, for fall of 2019, applications went out in March of 2019. So that's how fast the people sent out applications to. And we had about 15 days of time to fill it in and to send in the application on the courses that we'd like to TA for or RA for.
Can
So-
you throw some light on the
Yeah.
online TA?
Yeah, I will. But CS students have a lot of opportunity, but at the same time, there's heavy competition for TA positions because it's just a lot of students. The amount of students who will be coming in for fall itself, and it's not just from India, but from China or like any Asian country or some other place, would be around 300 to 400 students per batch. And also taking into consideration that the seniors who are already on campus, people who might be shifting from OMSCS to on-campus version, it's just too many people, so there's like heavy competition going on. Usually professors prefer taking in a student who has already done well in the course and to stick with the same person if they are going to be remaining on campus. The only way that there is a roundabout on this is that if you're a PhD student who's working under that professor, you might get offered directly. Otherwise, for master students, it is a central system. So chances of getting a TA position will be hard. And also, Let me add this to that. TA positions require you to put in office hours, so you'll have to put in some considerable time to that, correcting assignments, addressing questions for other students, being online on Piazza, like around 2 hours per day. So that is a lot of work. Um, so if you are going to be taking 4 courses plus a TA position, it is not advisable to do so because it'll be quite hard for you to manage. Um, Also adding to that, um, so I did do a research thing in my first semester, even though I was not paid for it, um, with another professor. Around about this, like if you have to get a TA and RA, and to increase your likelihood of doing so, I would suggest doing this. Um, the reason that I was offered the TA position, even though I had not applied for it, was because I did a project under their lab in my first semester itself. So when you're doing a coursework and if it has a project option, like approach a professor and be like, hey, I would like to work in your research group and I would like to take a part of your research and do that as my project for this said course and see if that professor would agree to that. And it's very easy to do that. You can go to the professor, meet them directly and like talk to them about it, tell them, hey, like I'd like to do this as it's relevant to that. And once you do exceptionally well, ask the professor to put in a word for you. And it is very easy. Professors do that if it's in their lab group itself. So like ask the professor to like put in a word for you, and you'll definitely be taken in, and it would increase your chances like by a lot. So that's probably an easy way to do that.
Okay, thanks, Niranjana. So we'll go shift to ECE answers now for the same question.
So for getting a TA or RA in EC is tremendously difficult. For at least in your first semester, I'll say the chances are tending towards zero, unless and until you're a PhD, of course. For master, and there is a priority level for faculties. Getting an RA or TA for PhD is much more easier than master's thesis and then master's people without thesis option. So how to go about it is like first semester, I'll say do not assume that you're not getting it. Second semester onwards, you can get it, but for getting it in second semester onwards, you need it depends on your coursework, how you're doing your coursework in fall, and then on that basis, you can contact the faculties under whom you took courses in fall to make you an RA or TA. But most of the faculties in EC might not even give you a free, won't even allow you to work for free for them. Yeah. Because it's highly packed and they do not require and they do not want to waste their time and expertise on you, basically. But some of the faculties are really sweet and then they give you an opportunity for special problem, even in first semester. Special problem is basically a research work similar to RA, which you'll be doing under the faculty, but instead of faculty paying you, you'll be registering for it as a course and you'll be paying Georgia Tech for it. But that increases your chances of getting an RA or TA in your second semester onwards. Increases your chances, but does not guarantee. But some people, what they do in EC for TA, in first semester, they take some courses from CS and then become an online TA for it or an offline TA for it. Because in EC, it's really difficult. Currently, I'm RA in summer semester, and most probably I'll be TA in next semester, or I'll continue my RA. I'm not decided yet.
Okay, thank you so much, Sonia. So we'll shift first to Anirudh, then we'll come back to Manoj. So Anirudh, can you share your TA, RA thoughts?
Yeah, sure. So the thing I did, like Sanya mentioned, since I'm specializing in CSS, I had a lot of cross-listed courses with CS system specialization. So I had taken up 2 courses, namely Advanced Operating System and High Performance Computing Architecture. So these two are the cross-listed and well-known systems courses. So I did really well in the first semester, and I did apply for TA in the second semester, and I also contacted the professor stating my credibility for the role. Uh, and I did get TA for online TA for AOS in my second semester, and I think I will be TA next. But yeah, I mean, for me it was good. As far as like Sanya said, it is really hard to get TA in EC because of the priority given to PhD students and then to master thesis and then to masters. So one more thing you need to concentrate is like if you are studying on campus, you are eligible to apply for TA to any department. So keep that in mind as well. So you can apply to TA-ship for any courses which you think you can handle or you have enough experience with that.
Okay, thank you so much, Anirudh. So we'll move on to next question.
Okay, so I just have one more thing to add to this TARA thing with respect to ECE. So the best option for ECE person to get a TA would be like to apply in computer science department, or like yeah. So at least comparatively, computer science department takes a lot of TAs. It's like pretty much zero. So you're better off taking applying to like your relevant CS courses. Like say if you're doing in networking or some systems, you can definitely find an equivalent CS courses. So you can apply to be the TA for those courses, and your chances of getting the TA there is higher than your chance of getting a TA in EC department. Also, like I would advise you if you want to get an RA, like don't restrict yourself to like ECE. There are a lot of CS faculty who are kind of work in the same area as you might be working on. So please do reach out to them. And even in other departments, say like say biomedical or like biology, physics, or something like that, they may be looking for someone for a specific role. Say, for example, like they might want you to say one of my friend he got like an RA in biology department because like they wanted for him to design a circuit. So they did not have any expertise in that, so they hired him to design this circuit. So you should also look out for those kind of opportunities.
So, since you're a PhD student and you've done some PhD work in ECE and to CS, can you tell that experience? Like, how is PhD in ECE?
In general, kind of depends more on like your advisor and like how well you kind of both of you can work together. So if you're like considering doing PhD or even considering doing RA or some research, I would advise you take like a special problem during your first semester. You talk to the advisor like yeah, as Sanya mentioned, like in EC, it's not everyone agrees readily, but always good to take take a special problem with him. Special problem is basically like a course which is like same as like a research, and then you can register for like 3 credits that will count towards your 12 credit requirement. And like if you do that, like, your chances of getting a RA next semester or doing research within thesis within is significantly high.
One point I forgot to add was like in EC, the process technically is applying online. There is a form for it, but that does not work. Nobody really looks at it. The best way is approaching the faculty itself.
Okay.
So there is another question like if the MS OMS
Okay.
like, yeah, I think it pays less, but yeah, your tuition fee is waived.
All right.
No, it is not paid less.
Hold on. 1 second.
Oh, okay. Actually,
This is which question is that you're talking about? Can you?
CS.
So, is the online MSCS TA paid, and does it waive off semester fees?
I think I can take this question. So, I was TA for online course, Advanced Operating System, the online version of the course. So, as far as I know, the pay was same, whatever it was on campus. And yes, you are eligible for fee waiver if you have registered for 9 credits worth of coursework. That is 3 courses on campus.
Okay, thanks, Anita. All right, so let's move on to other questions. So the question is it possible to convert from CSE to CS? Since I heard people are able to change majors. Any precedent?
So I did not exactly shift from CSE to CS. I shifted from bioengineering interdisciplinary to CS. But the bioengineering interdisciplinary that is offered by computer science falls under the School of Computing. and so does computer science and engineering, CSC. Is it possible to shift from CSE to CS? It must be possible based on you have a valid reason for doing so and you have to approach your graduate coordinator to do so. And it is not a decision that is taken by the graduate coordinator itself. Shifting of major, the decision is taken by the dean of College of Computing. Unless and until the dean is to approve the change, you will not be able to make the shift. But having said that, from CSE to CS, I would not really think that it would matter too much, especially because it's open. Like in the School of Computing itself, all the courses are open for CS students. So you'll be able to register for anything as long as you have availability and as long as there's no extra permit put in by the professor or by um, the department coordinator, because that does happen for like specific CSE programs. Like for example, you'll not be able to register for some analytics courses because it is only for them. Having said that, you'll be able to take courses even though if it's not in your particular semester. Usually, like the major restriction or anything just gets taken off during phase two, you'll be able to register for it in phase, so you'll be able to get in. So that's not a big of a deal. So if you're making the shift because you want to take some certain courses, this is an easy way to do it. You don't have to make the shift. You can just take the courses. Otherwise, yeah, as long as you have a valid reason, as long as like it does make sense to make the shift, and it is very important that you make the shift, they will approve it, and they're very considerate in doing so, even if it's in your first or second semester.
Okay, thank you so much, Niranjana. So the next question is, are there any placement statistics for CSE or CS students?
Satish has some statistics. We can put them on. We can talk about it. Statistics.
Just give me some time.
Okay, so we'll come back to that question. So let's move on to the next question. So it's a CS question. Who are some of the best CS professors at Tech? What courses do they teach? I specialize in computing sciences systems.
Computing systems. So it's a very subjective question. It's based on what you want and like, and every professor is good in his or her own field, especially in the research that they're doing. They're exceptional, especially in computing systems. There are some people. If you're looking to do something related to databases, I'd suggest approaching either Professor Joy Arudraj or Mr. Shyam Nawate, Dr. Shyam Nawate, and they're experts in their field. For networks, there are amazing professors too. For compilers, yeah, we recently gotten Mr. Dr. Vivek. So yeah, I mean, for computing systems, yeah, there are some very good professors. Please just look in the passport and the courses that you're interested in, and the professors who are offering it are probably very good in the research that they're doing.
Okay, thanks, Niranjana. So we'll get back to Satish on the statistics.
Okay. I'm just sourcing this data from the Academic Effectiveness Office of Georgia Tech. So it seems like both ECE and CS are having more than 87% placement from fall 2018. So yeah, like and CSE in general like is having more than 75%. So the placements are quite good. These are just the data reported by the students who graduated in fall 2018 before they like left the campus. So it's we don't know the exact numbers right now. It's been like 6 months, so it's up to them. If they are updated, it will be here. You can also Google it if you wish to see the.
So what site do they go to Google this?
This is Academic Effectiveness in Georgia Tech. So it is published by.
Academic Effectiveness
Yes.
by Georgia Tech. Okay.
Okay.
So you just Google Academic Effectiveness
Yes.
Georgia Tech. Okay, thanks, Satish. So we'll move on to next question. It's a CS question. How hard is it to hunt job in the Bay Area from Atlanta itself? I think we have to do online round, then fly all the way there and back. Can you share some tips or experience?
Yeah.
So you can add this in the next question to it.
And the next, yeah, we can add a next question, which is, does your specialization matter for getting a SDE role?
Software development.
Yeah. I think I'll be able to just read the question. So
Yes. How hard is it to hunt jobs in the Bay Area from Atlanta itself? It shouldn't be too hard because most of it is online. You put in an online application, and if the said company came to campus, yeah, you can give in your resume, and they'll be able to contact you back, and you take the online round or an interview through Skype or something. And if you have to fly all the way there and back, please remember that you don't have to put in the expenditure. The company will be putting it for you. So if that's like a major cause of concern, here here's answer to that. Can you share some tips and experience? Mostly it's just apply for as many as you can because that will majorly increase the number of chances that you get into something. Sometimes they just hired someone else and you have to face the rejection. Does your specialization matter for getting a software developer role? Honestly, no. As long as you've taken a relevant coursework and you have the skill set for that, it shouldn't be too much of a concern.
Okay,
If
thank
you
you.
have something to
Okay.
add.
Yeah, let's
I will just add a few points from my experience. Like I've graduated, I'm moving to Amazon as a SD role. So it the job hunt doesn't matter based on the location you are in. So as Nirendra mentioned, like yes, they will be flying you in if they have you shortlisted. So I have been to a couple of places for the interviews like Seattle and San Francisco. So it doesn't matter; they will do it everything if you are shortlisted. And regarding the specialization, no, it doesn't matter provided that you have done the courses and you have some experience in the role you're going for. SD is like a generic role. You can be SD in machine learning, SD in networks. So like there are multiple like the individual job matters. And if you're going for a new grad position, which most big companies do, like Amazon, Google, where they recruit and huge, they will be like they will assign you the SDE interviews based on your prior experience and your coursework. So it doesn't matter.
So
Much.
since we're in the job topic, we can shift to EC with the same topic.
Yeah, so actually for EC also majority of jobs are there in the Bay Area. So I'll say it's not completely like it's not that difficult, but there are a few difficulties that may occur because you are in the East Coast. Few of those are like so most of the companies usually have multiple rounds of interviews. In multiple rounds of interviews for internship at least, most of them will happen on phone interview because the companies are in the Bay Area. So you need to really understand how phone interview works. Uh, Basically, because you won't be able to explain everything to them diagrammatically and stuff like that. So that is one thing to figure out. Another thing is this that, as they said, they'll fly you out, but they'll fly for full-time jobs. They'll fly you out, but they'll fly you out for the final interview. The previous rounds again, then those will be also in phone interview. So phone interview is only little bit tricky part of it. Rest, there's nothing else different from a university in the Bay Area to Georgia Tech. But the advantage of Georgia Tech is, of course, this because it's a big university with great name, great value. So companies automatically come to Georgia Tech for career fairs, where you can build more contacts. Companies like Apple, which do not go to all the universities, they come to Georgia Tech. That is another beneficial point of Georgia Tech.
Thanks, Anya. What about you,
I just want to have a
Anirudh? Okay, so let's move to Anirudh.
My experience, based on my experience, I would say the companies visiting on campus, like you are at much greater advantage compared to people who are applying online. So it's the case for any companies which you apply online. Yeah, I do agree that there's a brand value associated with Georgia Tech, but the response rate of online applications is very less compared to applying on campus and cracking a like getting a call for interview on campus. So, but I feel the placement, the career bus service in Georgia Tech is really good, and we have a lot of career fairs. So, finding internship or full time should not be that hard.
Thank you, Anirudh. So next question is, so let's talk about Buzzport course critique and how to select courses. So let's start with Satish.
Let's have a look at
Um,
option.
I mean, to just give you like an overview of how CS registration works, there's a phase one registration that happens for incoming students also. It happens for a short time, but it does happen. So to given for phase one registration, you have to be present for orientation, and that's when they talk about the courses. That's when they give out permission to register for phase one. In the phase two, which happens on the first week of classes, all major restrictions are removed pertaining to CS courses. Anybody will be able to register for a CS course, and it is not only pertaining to CS students, but it can be ECE students or it can be biology, like undergrad. Doesn't matter. Anybody will be able to register for any courses during phase two registration. How does registration work? So you go into Busboard, you're given a time ticket, and registration begins from that particular time ticket. It usually starts on the first day of orientation. So once you're given a time ticket, go pick the class that you want and just click register, and you'll be able to get in if there are available seats. If there is no available seat, then you'll be put into a wait list. And you'll be able to see the number of students who are on waitlist. You'll be able to see your position on the waitlist also. So once the waitlist starts moving up, and it does happen because of two reasons. Number one, students either drop the course and you'll be able to get in, or some professors, and let me underline, some professors would do it if the student would attend their classes, and if they're on waitlist, they'll not be able to put you through the class itself. They'll be able to put you on a higher position on the waitlist. And this only happens to certain professors and if you attend classes. And once that has happened, you'll be able to register for the class. You'll be given like the permission to register. Usually it's like 24 hours once your waitlist is up. And if you register for it, you get into the class. And that's how it works. For some classes, if the waitlist is too high and if the demand is too high, then professors, like the graduate coordinator, does increase the cap, but not by too much. You can expect like some 10%. It only usually happens for classes, not for computer. Having said that, that's how it usually works. You can check it on Passport. There's also something called as course critique, where you can go and check the GPA, or like how many students have scored an A or a B or a C. Once you type in the course number, you'll be able to check that. Again, for CS, another useful this thing is OMS Central. You'll be able to check the workload and the difficulty, and you should be able to find it. So,
Oh, thanks, Niranjana. Does anybody has anything else to add?
In EC, the registration usually, like, it's what she said is exactly the same thing. The only thing I like to add is that EC has multiple TIGs. So the way it goes is like you need to register for 3 courses. Like you are supposed to do 10 courses throughout your degree. Out of these 10 courses, because all the courses are of 3 credits, 30 credits you have to do. So out of these 10 courses, 3 courses should be from your own TIG compulsorily to graduate. Then another 3 courses you can take from your TIG or anybody, like any other TIG, anything from EC. Then rest 4 courses you can take from anywhere in Georgia Tech. So that's how it works in EC.
Awesome.
Any course offered.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I will just add from my experience. Like what I used to do is like usually I just go to the specialization requirement. Just like ECE, we have the individual specializations. So there will be like set requirements for you to complete a specialization, and you have to complete one to graduate. So I would recommend selecting the specialization closer to your interest area, and based on the courses given in the specialization, check in the passport which are offered in that semester. And don't just take the course directly. Before taking, just go to course critic, check how the distribution is, and if possible, talk to a couple of seniors who have already taken the courses and get an idea about it, about the professor, about the TAs, and then take the course. And that will be easier. And also, like we are allowed to take like 2 courses outside College of Computing, and totally you can take like 4 courses or 5 courses depending on specialization in computer science, but any other specializations. Like, it's not like mandatory that you need to stick to that.
oh, adding to that, please don't worry if your the class that you want is not being offered in that semester. It will soon be offered. To check that, there is like a 3-year like program or like expected courses list for computer science, and I'm pretty sure it's available for ECE also.
Yeah.
Go there and you can check if that course will be offered in the spring or in another fall. And usually it is quite accurate. There might be some courses that's shifted around, but you should be able to check that in Passport. since all 2019 courses are already available on Passport.
I guess Anirudh also can probably just add a few lines to that.
Yeah, like Tanya said, it's pretty much same. So it is divided into 3, 3, and 4. So you should specialize. You should decide two TIGs which you will be specializing in, at least two. So first TIG you should take three courses, and the second TIG there are multiple options. Like the second group is not really strict, so you can take three courses from different TIGs altogether, or you can take from one particular TIG. What most people generally do is like they take four courses from one specific TIG and they take two courses from some other TIG, and then the remaining four are electives, and you can take any course you like. Yeah, that is most likely the CS courses. And for CSS specifically, you can take some cross-listed courses like HPCA is a cross-listed course with CS. Those courses count towards your TIG, that is CSS, but you'll actually be taking it's like taking a CS course as well. So yeah, that's about it. You will find more information about that during ECE orientation conducted by Georgia Tech. So I would say don't worry much about it right now.
Okay, thanks, Anirudh. So I guess you can come to the orientation and everything will be explained to you clearly as well over there. So we'll move on to the next question. It's a CS question. Can you please suggest few courses for people from non-CS backgrounds?
There are some introductory courses available, such as Intro to Database Systems, Computer Networks, Intro to Information Security, that you can probably take to get like an overview of how CS works. There's also stuff like programming languages. Adding to that, so you can take certain undergrad courses. So like 4,000 level courses, you'll be able to take them. So if you want another undergrad class in CS, you can request a permit and will be able to get it. Especially if you're from a non-CS background, yeah, coordinators are usually very good about that. Having said that, and these are some of the courses that you can take. Um, but yeah, you should be able to figure it out if you take these courses and then go from.
Okay, thank you, Niranjana.
Yeah.
Satish has something.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm also from a non-science background, so I would most of the things Jyotina said is same. Like only part I wish to add is like if you're taking undergrad course, please be careful. They may not be counted towards your degree
Yes.
requirement.
Yes.
So you need to check whether there's a grad equivalent of the particular course, or if you are really want to take a course, like especially courses like database, is very useful for non-CS guys because they haven't done any database course in their undergrad. They would be like, so in those cases, like it's better to take the undergrad course. Other times, just talk to your advisor before taking an undergrad course, and they are the ones who will be like giving you permit for taking it.
And even if you don't want to take up a course and you know you don't have to pay for it, you can just go and sit in your class or you can audit the class because professors are very, very, very lenient about that, especially taking into consideration the size of CS classes, they're massive. So it will be fine. Another thing to add to that is, especially if you're from an OMSCS and you're shifting to on campus, you don't have a CS background, please remember that once you get the campus, you will only be able to register for Atlanta classes. You'll not be able to shift or like change locations of classes and think that since it's offered online, I should be able to take it. That's not how it works.
Okay, thank you, Niranjana. So the next question is ECE. I wish to change the TIG that I mentioned on my application. Is it possible to choose another TIG?
Yeah, totally. Nobody is really taking a note of what TIG you are in and what TIG you are not in. It only depends on the courses that you are doing. That's it. So you can change whenever you want, whatever you want. It's very flexible.
Oh, guys, adding to that, even for CS, if you come into like certain specialization, like if you're coming through ML, you want to do complete systems data or like information security, that's completely fine. Nobody is saying no to that. And what you have to do is like when you're applying for graduation, which is one semester before you actually graduate, that's when you'll have to declare your major, and it happens on passport. So like until then, you have all the time in the world to figure it out. So it's completely fine.
Okay, So next question is ECE. I intended to, to do masters with thesis. Is the rumor that people who do thesis find it difficult to find a job?
No, I don't know. I've never heard this rumor, but it's okay. Yeah. So there's nothing like this. It only depends, like because you're doing thesis, so you'll be doing less number of courses. So when you'll be doing less number of courses, your major concentration will be on your thesis. So for VLSI, if I talk about, there are different fields in which you can go. You can go in physical design, you can go in RTL, you can go in verification, you can go in validation. So if you have picked your thesis in physical design, then probability of getting a job in physical design is much more higher than getting a job in other RTL or testing or verification. So that is how it goes, but it does not reduce your chance or anything in that way. It's actually much more, like, I'll not say much more beneficial or not beneficial. If you are very sure that this is exactly what I want to do, and in that case, you are in thesis, so like you're in thesis option, then you have the research experience, so it might act like a positive thing only, but it is not going to affect in any way negatively.
Yeah, okay. So the only thing I see with masters with thesis is like so basically like, you tend to be seen as a person who is more interested in research. So that kind of like plays in two ways. So there are some say some roles within the research team where you might be like considered you'll have a higher priority than like someone who did without thesis. But yeah, and one other thing that I can see is like say if you're doing thesis, it usually takes 2 years, right? Not people tend to not complete in like 1.5 years as like the course option. So those are the only two things I can see as like but other than that, it's completely fine. And then like you will get a job, and then like most likely you're the advisor who you're working with will have a lot of industry contacts, and he'll put you in touch with someone. So I have seen people kind of doing some research and then going to say like Intel or Nvidia wherever their project was sponsored by.
What Manoj said, that people who are doing thesis option usually take 2 years. It's common, but it does not mean that you cannot finish it in 1.5 year. You can finish it in 1.5 year if you make the decision of doing it in the first semester itself.
Yeah.
So it usually requires all the faculties want you to do thesis option for at least 2 semesters. So if you're doing it for 2 semesters, you can decide in fall semester and start your thesis from spring and do it in next fall and graduate in fall. So that is possibilities there.
Yeah, so it's possible, but it most depends on the advisor. So talk
Yeah, it
to
depends on
students,
it.
like talk to the students who graduated from the advisor before. Make sure you can.
All right, anybody else wants to add anything else? Anirudh, do you want to add something?
No,
Okay.
I think it's same. I have not taken thesis.
All right, so next question is ECE. Is it possible for ECE students to get jobs in the embedded software and computer systems? How is the coursework in this area?
I think I
Okay,
can.
let's
Yeah.
shift. Go ahead.
So I am specializing in computer systems and software. There are. I'm not really sure the coursework for embedded systems because I personally have not come across any good courses or well-known courses for embedded systems. But you do have a lot of choice for computer systems in general, and yeah, the job opportunity and internship opportunity for computer systems are really good. Best thing is that you get to apply to almost all generic SD roles, and also if you have some background in networks, then you are eligible to apply for networking companies as well. So it is pretty good. And coming to courses, like there are pretty standard courses for CSS, I would say. Like you will definitely take HPCA, you will definitely take OS, you will definitely take a couple of other. So if you are interested in distributed systems, so you will take dependable distributed systems. Then you will take you know some uh, system issues in cloud. Like there are a lot of courses, uh, but I'm not actually sure.
Uh,
So uh, yeah, you do have options, but the for CSS, I would say it's not too broad, but you have set set number of courses, and they are really good, and they should definitely help you get an internship or job.
Awesome. Thank you, Anirudh. So let's move on. So next question. Can can CS students get into product management roles? If yes, what courses are ideal to take up for this role?
Yes. CA students can get into product management course. Actually, all MS students will be able to do that. If yes, what courses? So as part of CS itself, so how the CS coursework option works is like 10 courses you have to take, out of which 8 of those have to be in something regarding your specialization, but 2 of those can be from departments that are outside of CS. Uh, and you can take up management classes like from Scheller, and sometimes they're offered as part of the NPS like CS itself. Um, so there's also something MS students can slide into MBA program with Scheller and graduate with less number of courses. It's usually around like 26 credits that you have to take, and we then graduate with an MS MBA. You will sort of. Adding on to that, another thing that you can usually do is like take up management certifications. Like you have to take up some certain number of classes, then you can graduate with it. There's something called as Management of Technology Graduate Certificate. There's also the graduate certificates in entrepreneurship, in international management certificate, and then engineering, entrepreneurship, technological innovation. It's available on Sheller's website. Also, if you come in and you can talk to them, and it's like 4 courses that you have to take max, you'll be able to graduate, 2 of which you can handle like sales itself. So it's completely fine. You'll be able to do that, and yeah, it's possible.
Perfect. Thank you, Niranjana. So next question is, can you please shed some light on co-op for MS students, upside or downside timeline, process, etc. CS.
So co-op is when you work with a company for one entire semester. Um, it's usually around like 6 months. People start like late summer and then they do it for one entire semester. It should be possible. The downside of that is it's gonna push your graduation by the semester. But upside is yeah, you get a lot of experience, which I mean, usually internships get converted to jobs. There's a high possibility of happening. So like co-op can like, very much guarantee if you have a job with them. There's some 60 to 70% that it is guaranteed. The process of doing that is just you apply for co-ops online. For CS students, it's not just like campus recruitment that happens um, and you'll be able to apply online. There's also like an online base where you'll be able to find jobs listing for CS students apart from graduate listing with Gardep. So you can choose some classes, or you can, if you have some contacts, industry contacts, that you can apply for co-ops, do it with them, and it should be fine. It's the same process as any other internship or application.
And so this is kind of like a general answer for like even
Yeah.
ECE, I guess.
Yeah, it's the same thing for EC also. But usually in EC, it's like people continue their summer internship and fall also. That depends on if company is allowing it or not. So what happens is like if you're staying for a longer duration, like summer semester and fall semester with them, so you might get a bigger project to work on. So that is an additional upside, I will say. And rest everything, whatever Nirjana said.
Perfect, thanks. So next question is for CS. I'm transferring from OMS CS on campus. I have already completed 2 courses. Now that the TA application deadline is over, is there a chance I can still apply for an OMS TA?
I am also a master student, so first thing I would recommend you to do is like try mailing the professors whose courses you have taken already. Say you have taken DVA from Professor Paul Chow, then I would recommend you to mail him uh, with your with your current project and whatever you have done and how you went to the course and all that. So he might have a couple of open positions because usually they fill the TA positions till the last like the first week of the uh, semester. So it might be like so Just try mailing the professors.
Just add that, especially because you mentioned DPA. DPAs, I mean, Polo is keeping some of his TAs. He's retaining some TAs, so it might not be possible. I mean, all of these are subjected to the professor and the students who are attending this. So I suggest.
All right. So the next question is from Monica. I'm asking for US citizens, what is the next best option after TA? I'm aware of on-campus jobs and I want to know if off-campus is possibly better.
Um, the here so U.S. citizens are not bound as international students by like visa requirements. For international students, it's like you can only work 20 hours max if you're going to work part time, but US citizens are not bound by that. So you should be able to find an off campus job, and like you guys don't pertain to the same rules as like on campus, like international students. So you can basically divide how many classes you want to take for that semester, like how much hours do you want to work, and I guess it would be better like if you look into options at Georgia Tech itself.
Yeah, so just to add to that, as a US citizen, like you have two advantages, I would say. One thing is you do not take like 12 credits, which international students are supposed to take. So you can do your course load, and maybe you can work as a part time or even full time somewhere if you can do that. So I have known people who work for like say startups in over here. So there are a bunch of startups near Georgia Tech campus. So I have seen a lot of people who kind of work there and then do MS as well. And another place is GTRI. So I also know people who work at GTRI and do either masters or PhD here. So these are the two things you can look into that. At least I have known people doing, and they found it to be
Quite
convenient.
easier
Yeah.
and convenient.
Uh, One more advantage over over F1 students for US citizens is that F1 students cannot work in the off campus for since they arrive after that 9 months they cannot work off campus. They can only work on campus. After that only they can start working off campus, and before that they can.
Oh, another thing that I'd like to add to it is so there's a drop deadline for courses. So like you can basically just experiment. You can be like, okay, if these number of courses don't work, you can drop and you not be charged. You'll be refunded like until a certain deadline. So just look into that. I mean, it's like all options are open for you.
All right. So next question is, how difficult are the big data for health and big data systems and analytics courses? Is it advisable to take both of them in the same semester? Is ML a prerequisite course?
For big data systems and analytics, it is a quite an easy course actually because the assignments are like usually open to you. There are two parts of the assignment. There's a reading assignment and there's like a programming assignment. It's on you. You can read how many like, papers you want. You can write reports on them. You don't want to take a programming assignment. That's completely fine. Everything is like literally open. Big data systems and analytics is one of the most easiest courses ever. Um, and the professor is very chill. She lets you do a project however you want, and it's up to you to set the limit to that. Big data health, on the other hand, can be quite difficult because it is quite programming intensive. It is very programming intensive. You have to know C++. I guess even C hash, I'm not sure. Would you let me know? I mean, it should be fine as long as you're taking like a similar workload for the other courses. Yeah, it should be fine.
Also, like one question that I see is, do you have any suggestions what laptop you need for CS?
Get something that's high on RAM and memory space. That's the only thing. Like Apple usually works very well. So does I've seen a lot of people using Predator. Yeah, Dell. Yeah, like all these systems have worked fine. Usually something that's on the higher end, around $1,000, you get the best options from them. You should probably be working with that. Even if you're unable to afford something like that, GT has options available. You can use the systems in the library, or you can SSN into one of our or you can use the lab systems. There are many open labs where you can just go and use the resources. The library has excellent systems available.
Can
Usually.
you borrow laptops from
Yes,
the library?
yes, you can borrow laptop from the library, usually up to 48 hours, I think. Um, so, I mean, that is possible, but I mean, it's not, it is quite expensive if you think about it. Like, you're not able to, it's not a sustainable practice, honestly. But on the other hand, yeah, you can just use one of the systems, enjoy it. So you can log into your this thing, so your files are safe, and you can retain files as soon as you get the best system. Yes, it's possible.
Okay, so next question I think is a general question. Do advisors allow students to choose topics independently? I guess we'll start with Manoj.
So one would answer would be like no. So like you usually get to work on like whatever the project they have. So basically the way that works, the things work here is the advisor will have to apply for a grant and they'll have some set amount of money, and then like they'll be looking for someone who can work under them complete the project. So so that is the main way that you get an assistantship. But having said that, like most of the time, you have like a significant amount of leeway in that. Like you're confined to like an area of a problem, but not you're not confined to like the specific problem as such. So yeah, it kind of so this is the case with most of the professors. So some professors I have seen like they want you to work on some funded project, but they'll allow you to work on say or whatever you wish on the side or something like that. So it all depends on the advisor actually.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. Yeah. So let's move on to the next question. I'm not sure if it's ECE or CS, but while registering with the intention of dropping a few courses later, what is the maximum number of courses one can register?
For
Okay.
documents, it's you can register up to 21 credits unless it's a summer where you can install the 16. With the intention of dropping classes, it's not an advisable practice to register for more than 5 or 6 because you're taking up space, you're holding other students from registering. So if you know, and especially if you've gone to the first class, if you know that this is not a class for you, please drop it ASAP because another student will be able to get in. You're basically holding up another student from registering for the classes and costing and so.
So I just want to add to that, like in a general way, that how much ever you register, just make sure you don't register beyond 21 because your fees will change and you have to pay.
You cannot register
Oh, you know,
Cannot
register
register.
beyond.
Okay. So you cannot register beyond 21. So if you want to drop, make sure how much ever you drop, it will not drop below 12 credits. So I cannot say class wise 7 or 3 because most of the classes are 3 credits, but some classes may be 4 credits, some classes may be 1 or 2 credits also depending on the major and the course. So if you drop, make sure you don't go below 12 for sure, otherwise your F1 status is gone and you might be deported or something bad might happen.
So no. Actually, so the way that works is for F1 students, you should not and you cannot drop after the first week of classes. You have already paid the fees and it's only until a certain time until Georgia Tech reimburses you if you want to drop class. If F1 students have to drop below 12, in the first semester, it is possible to take only 9 credits because you can basically say, hey, like you're new to the US coursework, thus they'll give you an option of taking only up to 9 credits in the first semester. Please remember that this is only for the first semester, it does not pertain from your study.
But you need a special permission for
Yes. Yeah. Like OIE has to sign off on it, and until you get the this thing from OIE, the approval from OIE, you should be registered for 12. After which you can drop to 9.
Can you talk about the W where
Yes.
you can drop and get a W?
Yes, I will. So there are some interesting things that this can happen. 2 ways you can register for 9 credits is in your first semester, in your last semester. In last semester, you get approval for reduced coursework, and you can take up to 6 credits in your one semester if say you finished everything, and that is your graduating semester. and it has to be the graduating semester. There's literally no way around that. Before in your first semester, you can take the reduced coursework, saying that you're new to the American coursework system. OIE does sign up on it if you go and talk to them personally, which can happen only for on campus. Having said that, in your second semester, if you take the reduced coursework in your first semester, in your second semester you have to register for 12 credits. I've put that up. And you will not be able to drop. There's no way, there's literally no roundabout or workabout on that. I have tried, I know, felt it, it's not possible. You can do something if you want to work on it. You don't want to take a class, you can register for pass fail. And pass fail is the only option apart from letter grade that lets you keep the number of credit hours. If you're auditing, it does not count towards credit hours. If you're on pass fail and say it does not count towards a GPA, that's what pass fail means.
So when do I have to set pass or fail? Like,
Pass or fail, there's a deadline for pass or fail. It is usually around the break. So it's which is like fall break or spring break. It is usually around that time. You can go to academic calendar and you'll be able to find which is the deadline. And you should be registered and it has to be approved before that deadline. And when it comes to pass fail, it will not be counted towards your GPA. But if you pass, you get like a satisfactory, which is an S on the report. And if you fail, which is a U, and unsatisfactory, it doesn't literally matter. It's not on top of your transcript, it's at the bottom, so it should be fine.
also, will this count towards your degree?
And it will not count towards your degree. Any CS classes that has not been taken for letter grade will not count towards your degree.
Another question is, let's say somebody took 15 credit hours,
Yes.
and then they want to drop it after the first week of classes. They can drop it to 12 credit hours.
Yes, they can. So if you register for 15 and if you want to drop a class after the first week, yes, you can drop a class and you don't have to approach quality for that.
So this is particularly true for like people doing research. Say for all the PhD students and even the masters doing research,
Yeah.
they usually register for 21 credits. So you have some leeway in dropping the courses.
Yes. But
But what is the repercussion for that?
so when you register for 12 credits, you will not be reimbursed. Trust me, you will not be reimbursed. If you're not dropping before the first week, you will not be reimbursed for that class. So you pay the fee and it's gone.
So what I mean is, like, when you drop after a certain deadline,
Yeah.
you may get a W on your report.
Oh, yeah.
Withdrawn.
Actually, after first week of classes, no.
No.
You can
That's what,
basically
like,
change
you
the
can- you
quality
can-
and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but as I said, like so the students who have taken like more than 12 credits, you can drop the course until like I think for fall semester it will be in October sometime. It's usually on the
Around
like
spring
around
break.
like 2/3
Yeah.
of the semester.
Yeah.
Then you can drop the course, but it will be in your
Yeah,
transfer
so-
as a W grade. W means like
Withdrawn. So yeah, basically you can, if you have, so make sure whatever you drop, it's not going to go below 12 credit hours, and you will be getting some emails, and you can look online also that within certain deadline, after the first week of classes, if you drop the class, you might get a W on your transcript, and it'll be shown on your transcript. So whoever's looking at your transcript can see that. It's not a big deal sometimes, but they might ask you, why did you withdraw a certain course? And so on your transcript, the name of the course will come and the grade will be W. And no big deal, you can take it next time also. And the second thing is, after that deadline, you cannot drop a certain class, which is, like they said, in sometime beyond, after like 2 months of the classes start or something.
Of course, adding to that, usually companies don't ask for your transcript if you're a graduate student. So, like, I mean, and you can always give an explanation that you had a lot of coursework and you were looking for jobs and it was quite hard to find. And it's completely fine. I mean, it's a practice that most students do. It's quite hard to gauge the classes, and even looking at the difficulty and the workload, sometimes you'll just not be able to work around that. So it's completely fine. The only thing is you'll be paying fees for it. If you register beyond 12, it's the same. It stays the same. You will not be charged more than 12. So I mean,
Right.
yeah.
All right. Thanks. So the next question is there a cap on number of courses CS students can take outside College of Computing, provided I will take the minimum number of credits in CS?
No, there is no cap on the number of courses CS students can take. So on your free electives, you can take classes. Um, but I guess you can only take 2 classes outside your department. If I mean, counting towards your graduation credits. Anything else is completely up to you. If you want to graduate with say 30 credit hours, you can take only 2 classes in different colleges.
Uh, I can add a few from my experience. Like I have taken classes from College of Engineering, College of Arts. It doesn't matter. Like to be frank, they'll be like they will not restrict you about the number of classes you are taking. We'll just make sure that there are only taking 2 classes from outside College of Computing towards your degree requirement. So make sure that you have your College of Computing classes enough for your degree requirements, and then take classes from outside the College of Computing. Otherwise, it might be tough for you since you may be asked to extend the semester than your planned one if you have not completed the requirements.
Right.
Is there some place where I can check detailed syllabus of all the courses offered? Yes. You can check it. There's something called as course hero. If I mean, not all classes will have the materials on that, but some students do put their like whatever they've worked on course hero. You can go and check on that. But sometimes even the professors have their own website, and on their website they show the courses that they've offered, that they've taught, and the syllabus is available there too. But
Can you email the professor beforehand, like before you take the
class,
course, and sometimes they might send you the syllabus?
they might, but if
Usually courses put it up in their website.
Yeah.
Also, like make sure you look up if it's not just based on the course. It also depends on the professor who is teaching a course at that semester. Say if two professors teach the same course in like say fall and spring, the syllabus will be quite significantly different from each other. So make sure you look up for the syllabus for that particular professor.
Right. All right. Next question. It's a CS question. Would you recommend any course purely due to how well the class is conducted, or unique learning experience, or a similar factor? So I guess I can't see the question.
that's just something to add. Yeah, so no. But no. I mean, all experiences are subjective to your interest areas. So, like, it's very hard to share experiences on that. I can talk about my interest and I can talk about what I like, but it will not be the same from other people. Yes.
Yeah, it kind of depends on like what are your learning interests. Say like say I started some classes because like I just wanted to learn the class. Like I didn't take the course or I just started the classes. Or, like,
Oh yeah, so that's one thing you
it's
can
not
do.
even like officially like
Yeah,
studied
exactly.
register for the class.
Yeah.
So I just like the course. I went to the first class. I like the way the professor taught. So I thought I learned something from the course. So I just talked to the course. Hey, I just want to sit in the class. Is it fine? You don't. Yeah, that's okay. So I just went and said that in the class. So depends on what your area, what your interest is. Like, I can't think of anything like that applies to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, adding to that, if
One
any,
second. So we'll
uh,
shift. Yeah, go ahead.
so adding to that, if you are interested in any specific domain, then I would suggest you look for special topics. So that is one like those are the courses which are like they are not very well defined at that point of time, but they have a lot of open-ended questions or assignments, and you get to learn a lot more. And the class strength will be relatively less. I am assuming like for all the special topics that I have taken, it is generally between 15 to 20. So uh, those courses will give you an opportunity to explore much. And I mean, I have enjoyed most of the special topics I have taken, but the only problem is if you don't like working on open-ended assignments and projects, you might not like it that much.
One second. Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to the next question. CS, are research internships common? like in MSR or other research centers of a software company? If yes, when should we aim to apply for it? And could we get contact of someone who has done it? CS.
Research internships common.
It is common, but
Yeah.
I've seen only mostly for like PhD students. I have not seen like so especially MSR. Uh, I know people who have done like even my roommate is working in MSR this summer. So yeah, yes, it is definitely possible for like PhD students, but master students I would say like very rare. So I've seen people going for like say MSR like on what else, like, yeah, FAR. A lot of people in MI go to FAR.
I would,
Yeah,
so,
Intel labs. There are a lot of things like that. Amazon labs.
so adding to that, like maybe after you come here, you can just talk to a couple of seniors who have done internships there. Like there are a lot of ways. Like don't worry that there are like only few. I know like many of my classmates from the last class have been there in Facebook research and Google research and MSR. So just try talking to them. Maybe SDD even would be a good event for you guys to meet them and
Right, so we'll be having orientations, so where you can come and you can meet us, and then you can ask each senior if they know their friends and stuff like that, and that's how you get to know it. And I think that would be a good approach to get contacts.
Adding to that is on Thursdays, usually occurs on Thursdays for some reason, but Georgia Tech does offer networking this thing, especially the Student Government Association and Alumni Association. They offer contacts with other people who have been in companies and they offer networking sessions also with them. So you can get in contact with people who those resources also. There's another way to do this. Like I said, right, if you do know a professor and if they put in a word for you with their industry contacts, it might happen, and that's like some 2%. But yes.
Alright, so next question is for CS. Does the 3-year course outline have any validity, or would it be updated before the course registration? Because some of the courses haven't been mentioned in which semester they are offered.
So the 3-year course outline is valid because that's the way people actually think about it. Even graduate coordinators and people who are offering classes, the professors have given a tentative schedule, and that's exactly what they've put up. It does get updated if there are certain courses that's being offered. It gets updated every semester as the year progresses, but it gets updated through the end. Would it be updated? Usually, not a lot of classes get dropped, but they are offered in a semester before or after. So, taking into consideration that you're going to be here for like 3 semesters, you'll be able to look into that and you'll be able to take a class that you like. With that being said, yes, that's the only valid outline that we can get, and that's the only valid outline that we've got to.
So could you post the link of the site where we can check course content, because the voice was inaudible. So can somebody retell which site they can go?
It's called coursehero.com, COURSEHERO.com. You choose the school that you're in, which is Georgia Tech, and you type in the class name or class number, and you might get some relevant material. I underline might, because these are all resources that has been put up by our students in the courses that they've taken. Yes.
Or you can just Google your course code of the course that you're taking and the faculty name, and you will most probably get a good amount, like nice outline and syllabus kind of stuff, depending on the faculty, how much.
All right. Perfect. So I guess let's wrap this up. Thank you all for attending the session and asking such really, really good questions. I also thank all the seniors for being so patient and answering all the questions. So we'll see you guys when you're coming up. Thank you again.